Good afternoon, Shaggy SoCal. Stand by, I'm going to reset the mic. Good afternoon, Shaggy SoCal with 2 for Forza, and it's time for Series 5 for TNT Thursday Night Thunder. This season we're going to be running the Cadillac, what is its thing called? V-Series.R, that's it. And to kick things off, we're going to kind of start it the same way IMSA started it at Daytona Sports Car Course. So, like any of the track guides, I'm going to probably go and run a couple of out laps. First off, just to get a feel for it. Then I'll do kind of the slower track walk, just kind of talk about around Daytona here, what I think the car is going to do, what it seems to like, what it doesn't. And then because I do need to practice a little bit with some traffic, I'm going to go ahead and run mock race. Actually, I don't even have to guesstimate race distance because Matt figured that out on the shakedown night. So with that, let me just go ahead and let's talk about the setup here. For the outlaps, actually, I want to go again. We are going to run stock PI, so that'll be enforced in the race. Open tuning, so things I talk about is based off the tune that I've made that I'll probably race on Thursday. Though I don't think, since we're running the same parts, that other tunes will probably be in that same realm. There might be some subtle differences, but let's go ahead and fuel the tire. I think for the track guide portion, I'm going to go ahead and run mediums. And I'm going to run down to 50% fuel. As far as difficulty, I'm going to find difficulty settings. I'm going to run sport traction control on this. I learned my lesson in Forza 7 with the Mazda LMP2. It's for the higher speed where the downforce kicks in. There's really no wheel spin, but it's really for the slower corners. This car can bite you if you depending on your setup. Again, I'm not a setup wizard, so I don't know if that's just reducing the acceleration diff would do it or not, or maybe I just have too heavy of a foot. But I'm going to run sport traction control just to help get out of the slower corners. The other thing too is on the setups. What I was finding is the Logitech 923 does not have its own independent degree of rotation setting. So I kind of go off of whatever's on the game, or whatever the game tells it the degree of rotation should be. So at least for the last couple of seasons, I've been leaving it at 100%. Need to turn that down with this car. I did a couple laps out, and it was like, I've got to put so much steering into it. So what I'm doing is, you can see here, it's like I'm leaving the force feedback scale at 100. With a 900-degree steering, I'm not going to do the math in my head, but I brought it down to 60% of that. So it's a little over 540 is what I ran in Forza 7. So that seems to be the sweet spot for me. Again, if you're doing your own tunes, play around with that. But just, again, if you have independent wheel settings as far as your degree of rotation versus the game, just, make sure you got those percentages in check so that you're not, and especially if you're downloading somebody else's tune that may have their own DOR set up on it. But I think even when you download a tune, I haven't tried it, but I think this is more car-based, not necessarily tune-based, so you might still be able to adjust it. I could be wrong, because I'm running my own tunes. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to do medium tires about half tank. I think that's a good balance between, it's the midway point between low fuel softs and full tank hards. So let me go ahead and run a couple of laps here. And start race. Okay, so looking for yellow paint. Third corner here. I like the braking line is pretty good as far as guidance through there. A little bit of the inside curving there. You're on risk. Second gear for, I think this is the International Horseshoe. Can go all the way out across the white line if you need to. And once tires are up to 10, you should be able to take this flat. Worst case scenario, just give it a little confidence lift at the apex. Second gear. Gentle roll out. The curving. brake right at the cones there on the right side. I'm down to second. I think ultimately I'm going to do that in third once I get in rhythm. Now for me, the line here at a Daytona 2 and 3, no, Daytona 1 and 2. I'm going to run the low line. That's mainly because I have to run hard tires for the race. And braking for the Le Mans bus stop, or the Le Mans chicane, sorry, that's the proper name, and I'm way doing it wrong. We'll get another shot at that. It used to be called the bus stop, and then they now call it the Le Mans chicane, so I'm going to call it the bus stop, and just compromise. Let's do one more lap. I think on the mediums, the tires should be up to temp at this point. I tend to do a later turn in on that one. That might change as I get it, run more laps. A little late. A little higher onto back onto the oval that I want, but I'll make it work. See if I do this better this time. Still a little bit late. Cone. So let's talk about the lap here. Braking line, I think the guidance is, at least for the lines I like to run or what I tend to run, is pretty good. So braking down here for the first corner, the things I'm trying to spot, and this is the other thing. It's when you're running your own practice laps like this in test drive or when we're doing meetups. We've got all the little virtual sector guides that come up and time your sectors. They're nice, but they're not there in the race. So it's sometimes a little easy. You start relying on them, and then they're gone. So a couple of things I'm trying to spot as I'm coming down to turn, coming off the oval, turn 1 here. As you can see the bright yellow paint there at the exit of pit lane. That's usually the first thing I'm going to spot, and it's probably right about where that ends. And almost pretty much right where the blend line of the pit exit is about where you're going to really commit to braking. So if you can't see the braking line, if you're following somebody and you're running braking line and you can't see it, just spot that yellow, that bright yellow on the inside if you can, and that should give you at least enough of a reference to say, okay, if that's passing out, I really need to start getting on the brakes, and that way you might be able to give yourself a little bit of room so you're not right in the back of somebody. So usually what I like to do, and this car, well, let's say what I like to do is with the braking line is for turn 1, it is kind of, it's kind of a gentle turn in, but then it sharpens up. So it's almost like a decreasing radius turn. So for the braking, I tend to try and brake in a straight line. It's almost a double apex where, I'll brake, and the first apex is kind of right about here, and I'll be off it a little bit. And at this point, then hopefully I might still be braking a little bit down to third gear, let the car come out to the right side, and then turn it in, square this up a little bit, late apex, and then shoot out into the chicane towards I think it's the International Horseshoe. As far as the curbing here, you can get your inside tires, you can get your tires on the inside on the grass. Shouldn't hook the car if you don't have a lot of steering in it. Probably up to 5th gear at this point, bring the car out to the left. I don't have a definitive braking point here either. It's a little further back than I think I'm used to with other cars. We've run slower cars here the last few times. So the braking line, it is just before, the light pole here, just before the the more sharper hairpin here for the international horseshoe. Should have reviewed the track map before I did this guide. My tendency is, again, the line's pretty good. You're gonna take it like a traditional hairpin. You're gonna start wide. You're gonna bring it into the apex. I'll probably turn it a little bit later. Let the car come out, and again, revised track guides. You can bring the car all the way out across this white line, all the way out to the curbing here on the left side to accelerate out. Heading down to the kink to the second horseshoe, or the second hairpin. On cold tires, especially if you're running hards, this kink, you're gonna, at least for the first lap to 2 laps, you're not gonna be able to take it flat, or I would say, or you're gonna be really cranking the wheel and heating up your tires. So I would say as you turn in, it's probably that first lap or two, just a quick confidence lift as you get into the apex, and then you should be able to roll it back on. I think once the tires are up to temp, this should be flat. And I've been able to do it flat on the hards if I get the line right. So you should be able to do it on the other mediums and softs. Let the car come out to the right side, bring it back to the left. Braking for the second hairpin here is just about, I think, just about the end of that access road, or the road, the short course, where the short course crosses over the main course. Brake, 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 a little bit wide in, second gear, late apex. What I'm looking for coming out of here is the two things I'm looking for. The first thing it's easiest to see is the yellow signboard there out on the left, because that's about where the yellow curbing starts. So if you can spot that, if somebody else hasn't knocked it over, that's a good place to kind of aim to track out, to let the car come back out to the left side. Again, because it's a course in the United States, that you don't have a lot of wiggle room on the exit of any of this infield corners. So you can get on the curbing a little bit, but you want to give yourself some wiggle room, because if you do drop tires off into the grass with this car, and if you're not running any traction control, you will hook it, and you'll hook it across the track. It's also, if you're not running traction control, just be careful how fast you're getting back onto the throttle. I think it's really just, as you unwind, the more you unwind the wheel and then kind of get the car set straight, is the more throttle you can give it. So be careful there. Bring the car back over to the right. Braking for the last infield turn back onto the oval is right about where this the other short course kind of joins back up, and it's right before the cones. But if the cones aren't there, you got to brake as you get to the other part of the road course where it breaks off there on the right side. For me, this is ideally going to be a third gear turn. If I'm in traffic, I'll probably go down to second, but on my own, third gear, get the apex here, let the car come out, start to roll into the throttle. I'm really not going to commit to the throttle until I'm about all the way out. And this one, I think my line varies lap to lap, but sometimes, if I go in too hot, I'll be all the way out here. Sometimes I may be more mid-track. We'll see what the tires give me. But I'll be out here. But usually when I can kind of see into the corner of the oval where the crane is, I know at this point I can really commit back to the throttle and turn the car in. For me, if I do it right, I am aiming for the yellow line. This is where I'm going to ideally join back onto the oval. Then I'm right here at the bottom of the track. I don't have to bring the car back down. For me on hard tires, again, it's kind of like what happened in the Mazda last season. I have a grip disadvantage for the race. I'm not going to give up the bottom without a fight. You want to pass me, you're going to have to get the draft. You're going to have to do it on the high side. So that's what I'll be doing. Though as I come out off the banking, as it starts to flatten out, I will bring the car back out. Ideally to have it kind of on the right side as I get to the billboards. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of room. Now for the bus stop chicane, or the Moss chicane, or the bus stop, I'm still, and it's partly the timing line. I'm still trying to find the breaking point here for me, because notoriously I'm too fast going in, and so then I got to check up a lot, and it compromises my exit. So what I'm looking for is this is one of those cases in practice. The the virtual timing, sector timing thing is actually a decent, thing to look for, but it's not going to be there in the race. So the easier thing to spot is you can see the crane that goes over the track. That's a little too late, but just before that, when we get a little closer to it, you can see the green light. And I bet you so this green light is what I'm looking for. It's just under the rearview mirror. So I should be able to spot that day or night regardless, but that's what I'll be looking for. And I think braking from a kind of a timing standpoint, and again, depending what time of day, I don't know how easy it is to spot, but as you can see on the catch fencing, you can see that the extra little tubing and like that I guess for the access, for the to get through that fencing there, it's a little bit different than the rest. That's just before the light. That's probably what I'm going to try and spot. At least if I can spot the light, and then I know I got to brake before it, then I can look for that slight difference. It'll be a blur, but it'll be a slight blurry distance. That's kind of getting to the edge here, like right about here, is probably about where I should be braking. Again, this is why I'm still this is why I need to practice. I need to figure out the rhythm there. Not sure if I'll be in 6th or 7th. 6th on my own, it kind of winds out close to rev limit. If I'm in traffic, I'll probably have to, if I've got a draft, I'll probably have to put it in 7th. But ideally, brake, is to get the braking done and start to release the brake and turn in. What I'm trying to do is, ideally, I'd like to be in 4th gear. If I do it right, I should be in 4th gear here. If I do it wrong, I have to put it in 3rd. But with updated track limits, we can use a heck of a lot of curbing through the bus stop, and I would encourage it. So go ahead, use all of this bus stop here on the entry. Use all of this curbing here, for the middle part. Keep the car shallow. Again, the updated, braking line is pretty accurate. You want to keep it shallow. You don't need to go all the way out to the left side. Keep it shallow. 4th gear. I'm going to use as much of this bus stop, curbing as I can. Again, things would look different at speed. I'm sitting here looking and saying, lining up. If I can line up straight out, pretty much straight out towards the Sunoco sign, But honestly, when I'm in the middle of a lap, I'm not looking that far ahead. And then even using the curbing here on the way out. For me, my aiming point, like with this curbing in particular on the exit, you can use a lot more than you think you can. But what I'm trying to do is, you can see the yellow coloring like that. You can see like the white part that goes out and the white tip at the end on the paint. I'm trying to get that tip of that white painted end of the curbing, that pointed end. I'm trying to line that up in the middle of the car. So as I pass over that, it'll be close to that. That's when I'm kind of intending to get out of the chicane. Again, 4th gear. If I do it right, and this is what I'll be testing. Let me go back here a little bit. Let's use the pavement here. There we go. If I do it right, ultimately what I'm trying to do is, once you're kind of getting to this chicane, if you've got it lined up right, you should be able to be back on full throttle. That's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm trying to do. Hopefully that also lets me set up a run out on somebody coming out of the bus stop where I've already got momentum on them, then add the draft to that to be able to get around them. Hey, Luces. So out of the bus stop chicane. Now getting back onto the oval, I'm going to wait as long as possible, and just kind of like getting onto the oval out of the infield to get there is using the yellow line there as the guidance. You can stay on the flat up until you get to that yellow line, and then you better be above it. I think you can still be a little bit below it without track limits, but right about that's where you go off track. So for me, it's the same thing through NASCAR 3 and 4. I'm going to hug the bottom, full throttle. Again, for me, then coming out, I won't stay on the bottom the whole time as the banking flattens out. Probably let the car come back across, because ideally, it is better to be, on the right side, even through the the try over here at start and finish, because it puts you in a better position for turn one. You really want to be on the right side setting up, because again, there's the yellow, and then braking for turn one. So that's Daytona. That's kind of what what I think will work here. Again, I didn't get. I think I spent half the shakedown laps we did here, just trying to get my steering and and braking pressure. That's the other thing I had to adjust as well. 100% braking pressure on the wheel, not enough. I actually had to go. I went up to 140. That seemed to give me that right balance, right, enough brake force for the way I like to brake, and still have some feel, and I can play with it a little bit. But that is a lap of Daytona in the track guide. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to do two things here. Again, still experimenting. You're still trying to troubleshoot static issues. And I think it's more particular in the long broadcasts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause the stream for a moment and set up the mock race, and then I'm going to run some practice laps. So let me go ahead and exit to an event menu, and yes, we'll be resaved. So just bear with me for a moment, and let's go ahead, and I'll be right back. And we're back, but I'm going to have to reset the mic. Okay, give me a second. Let me get a little sip of drink here. So for Thursday's race at Daytona, we're going to run 23 laps. So 23 laps, random starting day, time progression rolling. Usually the time scale is 24 times. So over the course of the race, I think if I work the math out, I think times 24 isn't necessarily a full day night cycle. It's probably closer to 12 hours worth of time progression within the 35 minute races we run. Weather's going to be random again. If rain comes up, I'm going to re-roll for the weather. Starting track rubber is usually 50%. Number of drive tires 23. Yep. And then just making sure I got the rest of this set right. I'm probably running more. Yeah, I'm probably running stiffer rules because I've got damage set to full. So it's going to make me, again, I want to try and be kind to the car if I can. Race start standing and random grid ordering, and tour pit stops 1. Yep, that looks good. Let's see what we get. Thin haze starting at 6 a.m. So we're going to race into so it's not going to be a nice race. We're going to have a nice sunrise. That's good. All right. So 23 laps, and that's the other thing. I have to run hard tires at 100% fuel, and I will refill on pit stop. So I need to practice that. So start race. Since it's standing start, and we're going to be on the banking with cold tires, just be ready as soon as the green flag hits that the back end of the car is going to drop. If you're running traction control, I think we can recover a lot quicker than if not. So probably another reason to run TC. Okay. Whoa. And everybody's getting argy-bargy right off the get-go. Again, hard tires, cold, hard tires, little confidence lift, little brake check. More headlights, okay. Yeah, come on. I got used to the mediums. Alright, so I got a run on the DPI in front of me here, but probably not enough to make a pass in, so I'm just going to back off. I'd rather work on the run out, though that wasn't that good either. I might be able to get the run. I might take a shot down. Yep, I got a run. Excuse me. Actually, I'm starting a bit far up front, so I'm going to let the field by. I need traffic to run in. Looks like a lot of people are pinning off this. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, hot lapping is one thing, but it doesn't really help me figure out what the car will do when I gotta try and get around somebody. Or when someone's trying to get around me. Careful with the downshifts. Pinch the exit there a little bit. Green light. Whoa! It's a little too slow out of the chicane. And I gave up the bottom. So I was looking back at who that was. Turn. I like a wide, with this car, I seem to like a wider entry there than what the game's suggesting, so. Come on. I'll figure it out eventually. always a little weird when they check up. They take a little bit too long to get back up to speed. Get a run here. Need to leave a little room. I wasn't sure what the AI was going to do. I wonder what happened there. Bit of lift through the kink, just because I'm managing the gap to Ringmaster there in front of me. I don't need to be right up on him because I'm going to draft him onto the oval. Almost got taken out there. Well, unfortunately, for some reason, I must have messed up a setting. I'm not seeing what's going on with the rest of the field. I know Lane Rail's in front of me, but that's late. Just don't know how far in front of me he is. Late. Ooh, very late. Lobster's having all sorts of trouble with the bus stop. You stay back there. that far ahead. Holy crap. I saw the new lap time pop up for Landroll. Like, I'm not even at the bus stop yet. So, well, again, if his driver tire is running a higher PI, it's clocking 135s. Tires didn't like that. So I've got a draft, but I'm really not making any headway, so that's fine. So I'll probably lift a little bit early just to give myself some space. And go off track. But you get the idea. I don't need to be right on the bumper if I'm not going to try and make a pass there. Discretion is the better part of valor. I'm going to go to lap 13 and then pit for the mandatory pit stop and take on refill the tank, because that's the rules I'm under this season. Definitely better through the bus stop than Zombie, but Zombie still has, looks like Zombie still has some straight line on me. So that's the hard part of braking a little differently out of cadence. Then it's like I brake a little lighter, and then I'm struggling to get the car wound down then. Before I'm just used to going to max braking. Blue flag, blue flag. Blue flag. Going to be interesting in the bus stop because we're catching 22nd there in front of us, and this could be You're checking up way too much, Bubba. Excuse me. I want to try and race the AI as I race humans, but I don't think anybody I race with on Thursday is going to be that slow through the chicane. Marker's having all sorts of trouble. A little bit late with braking. Should be able to get a good draft off the Acura here. High side. And stay low, stay low, stay low. Laps. It was a little more than I curbing or grass. I want to take that shit. And I can't talk. Can't talk and drive at the same time. So, pit lane. Pit lane entry, very easy. Pit lane exit, very dangerous. Because for whatever reason, I'm guessing it's a technical reason, we don't get to use the full, we don't use full pit lane exit that they do for the Bullocks 24. Kind of spits us out as if we were on the oval. But entry's pretty easy. Very easy. Okay, I need hard tires, custom, 100%. And I would say I still maintain the quicker you can get through, if you have to make adjustments on tire strategy or fuel, the quicker you can get through your menus and get set, I think that does benefit. But here's the exit. It spits you right out onto the entry to turn 1, so just keep it shallow. Second gear, just try and keep it to the left as best you can, and then go back on the racing line. That way you at least leave a lane on the right side open if somebody faster is coming through. You know, cold tires, hot tires. Yeah, maybe, hopefully, turn 10 can figure that out. Oops. I don't need to go all the way down first. Just second gear's fine. Cold tires. A little bit of engine damage, but... might get to level 50 by the end of the race. Just got the camera crane. Oh, that was way shallow. I like a little bit wider of an entry into that horseshoe. A little early. Little too much speed in, but trying to look at the yellow paint on the inside to gauge the braking. See if I can sort that out. Oh, a little wide. Yeah, I'm just not braking hard enough there to get the car slowed down. And then my turn-in's late, and then that messes up the exit. I got a group in front of me. Hopefully I can catch them before the end of the race. Just to have a little bit of extra traffic to navigate. Let's see if I can do it better this time. A little bit better. Car's still pushing halfway through, but that was a little bit better. Man, we're going to go slightly defensive, but I don't want to compromise my line too much. Likes to understeer on acceleration. Gently on the brakes there. That's better. A little bit better. Luces! To go. I don't think I'm anywhere close to Lanroller Darth at this point, so wow, I guess I was closer to Darth than I thought. Ooh, that's about as close as you want to get track limits. Oh, hello. That is. Winning? He gets held up out of the bus stop. Oh, that's a track limit violation. Hold up. It's a long shot at this point. I guess, well, let's just see what happens. One lap to go. Not making any headway, but yeah, he's gone. Well, it's a little too shallow, but Yeah, the traffic just must have held them up enough for me to make up the gap. But that is Daytona. Daytona. Ah, and yeah, 38-21. That's in the ballpark. So that's Daytona 24 in this Cadillac. And again, it just says Cadillac number one LM. I know it's got a more detailed explanation on it, but again, 23 laps. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to take a quick break. Actually, Hot Lap Challenge this week is in the 1999 Toyota. I think it's the GTS1 at Daytona Sports Cars. So I think while I got the wheel set up and some laps under my belt, I'm going to go and try and improve my time there a little bit. So hope you guys are having a great afternoon. Don't forget, set your clocks forward an hour, and happy racing. Oh, wait, I got to do the podium celebration. And I think that's what Cadillac likes to see, is 3 caddies on the podium. Again, Forza keeps resetting my darn driver gear, so it's the little things, turn 10, little things. Over that, happy racing. See you guys in a little bit for the second track guy. We're doing our Florida swing this week, so see you soon.